The Blue Lock spin-off novel was translated in English. Shout out to Hoshi801 on Twitter for translating and uploading all of them on Twitter. His links will be in the description. After reading the spin-off novel, it gave a great perspective on Isagi's life as a child in his early high school days before going to Blue Lock. It was only 8 chapters and pretty short, but I will summarize all the good points that I felt caught my eye and will give a bigger insight to Isagi's character. In the first chapter, we have Thierry Henry, who is sitting next to Jinpachi Ego, is concerned for him as he eats 3 cup noodles a day. She knows though that Ego is a key person as he is the person she hired to do the Blue Lock project. She knew he was a great man and was just worried about his health. It does not say anything about Ego's past, so I wonder where his credibility comes from and why she picked him specifically for this job. They are in a room with multiple computers and screens looking at highlights of many players. They come across Isagi and notice how he made a brilliant pass to his teammate, but right when he passes, Henry stops the video. She says he is not a good striker and continues on to other players. Ego then asks Henry to show him all of Isagi's highlights. He says Isagi is outstandingly good, but that's all. Henry thinks that Isagi's out of the question, but she knows Ego is handpicking the 300 players of Blue Lock based on his own bias. Suddenly, Ego tells Henry to invite Isagi, and she is puzzled and confused. We then go into the next chapter where we learn about Isagi as a kid. Isagi was very quiet and timid, and he hated loud noises. He starts to cry at the sound of everything, and he's 3 years old at the time. This is where things get interesting. Isagi points out to an empty space and is crying, but his parents cannot see anything. His mother was confused, questioning if he can see things that can't be seen. Isagi's father hears a strange sound and suddenly he is able to see what Isagi is seeing in the corner of his eye. It was a mosquito that Isagi had seen in the distance. It was then that they realized Isagi could see mosquitoes from a distance that no ordinary person could see. His spatial awareness has been with him since he was a kid. Isagi would also cry outside right before it rained. He was sensitive to the changes in the skies and sensed that it was going to rain. Isagi is scared because he has a wide field of vision, high spatial awareness, eyesight, kinetic vision, sense of smell, hearing, and skin sensitivity, which are all excellent. He detects the slightest change at a level that ordinary people cannot see or notice and avoids the risk. That's why he doesn't get bitten by mosquitoes or get caught in the rain. This superior sense in soccer leads to the ability to foresee the situation through spatial awareness. But neither his parents nor himself knew this at that time. Then the turning point for this crybaby Yochan came when he was 4 years old. Isagi would now go to his first soccer game at 4 years old, and he had felt a throb in his chest that he had never felt before. He then asked his parents for a soccer ball and they complied. From then on, Isagi was passionate about soccer. He asked his parents to send him to soccer lessons, and when there was a live soccer game on, he would sit and watch it on TV. He played soccer all the time during his lunch break and after school. He made friends through soccer, and Isagi, who used to be a crybaby, became more and more active. Even so, his timid and quiet personality does not change. He never gets into fights with his friends and never disobeys his teachers. He is athletic, but not very good in his studies. A simple boy who loves to play soccer. Isagi has always been that mob character until one day, when he was 8 years old, something astounding happened. Through the TV, he met a player. It was the young Noel Noah, who scored goals without ever changing a single facial expression. Noel Noah says a quote in an interview, "Winning isn't the only thing in soccer. Of course I want to win the World Cup, but I want to feel everything about soccer. Instead of assisting my teammates to win by 1-0, it feels better to pull off a hat trick and lose 3-4. You can't sell that kind of emotion anywhere, can you?" And Isagi will never forget the line that follows until he dies. How thrilling. An electric shock ran through Isagi's body. He basically said to himself, "This person knows why I love soccer." When he saw soccer for the first time, it wasn't just the feelings of how cool and how awesome. It is that deeply moved him. More than that, he found it beautiful. Soccer is a team game, 11 players against 11, and is also an individual game. There are also the surrounding spectators, the stadium, the show, the battle for life. He wants to be that striker, the one at the center of it all. I want to be a striker like Noel Noah. Noel Noah is trying to reach the top of the soccer world. Me too. I'm going to be just like Noel Noah, says Isagi. It is said that the fastest way to improve not only in soccer but in other sports is to imitate the pros. Although no one taught him, Isagi imitated Noel Noah's every move. He watched his videos, analyzed them, and recorded them in a notebook. He spent every day practicing, filling his mind with Noel Noah's soccer. One day I will represent Japan and score a goal in the World Cup finals. He aims to be Noel Noah. When asked who he admires the most, he answers Noel Noah. He writes on his self-introduction card, "My dream is to be the best striker in the world," and his request to Santa is a World Cup championship trophy. Isagi becomes stronger and better. He was fearless in running into his opponents, as if he had never been a crybaby. In elementary school, he scored a goal beating 5 opponents in a row. In junior high school, he became known as the unbeatable striker in his hometown in Saitama. "I'm going to be a striker like Noel Noah." That dream greatly changed Isagi. After graduating from junior high school, he entered a local soccer powerhouse, Ichinan High School. The club is strong and historic, with old certificates and cups adorning the lockers and the club's motto written in brushstrokes on the largest wall. Looking at the yellowed club motto, she does not know how long it has been on the wall. A tiny sense of discomfort sprouts in Isagi's heart. The quote is, "One for all for one. One difficulty after another. There is no wall that we cannot overcome if we all work together." Something's wrong, isn't it? One for all for one? It means each one should act for the sake of others, and the others should act for the sake of each one. Sounds good, but isn't the game far more from that ideal? The soccer that made his heart fired up was even more cruel. The striker who single-handedly broke through that cruel world was beautiful. He then meets his friend Tada, who asks if he is Isagi and is excited to team with him. The fellow first-year students gathered around. They all seem to be cheerful and nice. Thanks to Tada, the mood maker, the nervous first-year students quickly became comfortable with each other. Isagi's play is completely unlike any junior high student. It was insane. Tada talks to him without hesitation, and Isagi starts to relax. He's a forward too, so he might understand. Timidly, he points to the club motto on the wall, and he tells Tada, don't you think there's something wrong with this? He spoke up about the sense of discomfort he felt. Well, in soccer, it feels good because you can beat your opponents and score goals by yourself, right? That's the joy of being a striker. It's not about joining forces, but about the power of each individual striker. He glances to see how Tada reacts. Tada says, you can't play soccer by yourself. He said, what are you talking about? And then laughed. Soccer is a sport played by 11 people. My goal is a team play that represents the bond of those 11 people. One for all for one. This was the first step to the seal of Isagi's ego shortly after joining the club. Isagi was convinced. Ichinan's high school soccer philosophy is far from his ideal. The coach was friendly, compassionate, and nice. However, their practice to build up the game by passing the ball around is honestly boring. The coach's emphasis is not on power and speed, but on their combination with their fellow teammates. It was about teamwork, keeping the ball in play with sharp passes while getting close to the goal. Isagi is doing well making great passes, but he one day goes up to the coach and asks him, I want to go for the next game as a striker. I'd like to shoot more if possible. This is all Isagi could muster. And the coach says, you want to show off? He laughs out loud and his teammates laughed out loud as well. He looked up at the club motto and murmured, one for all for one. Without anyone hearing, he repeated those words again. From that day on, Isagi's desire for the pleasant sensation of shooting, his ego, had now been sealed. He was supposed to have taken the first step with the grand dream of becoming the world's best striker and winning the World Cup. It's not that he doesn't feel the passion, but as if to stifle it, he puts out the fire. Nice pass, Isagi. Isagi, nice timing on the pass. When he hears these words, he feels he has no choice but to continue to play this game of soccer. Isagi is now going up against Kira Ryosuke and wants to beat him. He had never told anyone about it, and even he had almost forgotten about it, but it had always been in the bottom of his heart. He wants to represent Japan and win the World Cup. It was a dream that he had been thinking about ever since the day he saw Noel Noah for the first time, when he was 8 years old. Then a predictive thought came to his mind. If my dream were to come true, this match would surely be the turning point. Just as when he was a child, Isagi felt he could see his future, just as he could predict the rain by looking at the sky. Then I should fight as my life depends on it. His true feelings welled up in his heart. Isagi heard the voice of his ego for the first time in a long time. He clenches his fist even more. I've been fighting as a team for a long time, but there's no way this team will make my dream come true. As a striker, I can't give up here. If I get a chance, I'll win this game with my goal. For the first time since entering high school, Isagi decided to take his own shot. Isagi's in the final stretch of the game. They are down 1-0, and he is on one-on-one with the goalie. His nerves are strained to the limit, and all Isagi sees is the goal. He feels the same passion as he did one day. He began to remember his ego. I'm sure of it. The game will be the turning point for me, Isagi says. And he hears his teammate Tada tell him that he is open. The voice of his teammate snaps Isagi's concentration. All of a sudden, he returns to his usual serious and tamed personality. He makes a perfect pass to Tada, and Tada hits the goal post and it bounces off. Kira then grabs the ball and scores. Everyone is sad and crying, but Isagi is not crying as he is disinterested. He realizes that they are not the best team in Japan. They are just a team that couldn't take the last step to the nationals. Now Isagi is invited to Blue Lock to train, and the dream he thought was over was set in motion once again. Ego and Henri watched the whole game between Isagi and Kira and invited Kira as well. Henri wonders, Isagiyoichi has been selected for the special player training program. Was it really okay to send him the invite to Blue Lock? I still think it's a mistake, as she says to Ego. Inside her mind, Henri snaps. When she thinks about the future of soccer, she becomes a little bit foul-mouthed. Things continue as they are, Japanese soccer will never be able to win the World Cup. That's why they need a savior who will destroy the current Japanese soccer, lead this country to win the World Cup. The world's best striker must be born. The selection of the 300 strikers was left to Ego's personal judgment and biases. But as expected, he's completely useless, isn't he? Henri thought, and yet while watching the image of Isagi slumped over on the pitch, Ego has an eerie smile on his face. This guy had the worst, isn't he, Henri-chan? Yes, in this match, his school lost 0-2, Isagiyoichi, and it ended with him unable to do anything. That's why I told you the other day that this kid is no good. However, Ego lifts the corners of his mouth more and more. Isn't that good? The best of the worst. He has an overwhelming field of vision and spatial awareness. He has an eye for accurately assessing his position in relation to the players around him. And he has a high soccer IQ, a gem who has killed his potential as a striker by using all of his talent for the team. Ego raised his glasses and nodded crudely. Japanese soccer killed him. and he will disappear without being found by anyone. It is the ego of humans like this that makes bluelock a treasure. I think this is a great storytelling of Isagi and how his ego was buried when he joined his high school team. It goes to show the environment that changes his philosophy he has had in him since he was a kid. I can't wait to go over other characters' backstories and share them all with you. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more videos and more content. I will be back for the next one. Peace.